17% of the world's population speaks the English language. Do you know how many words of that sentence were made up of nouns? 4. 4 out of 10. 40% of that sentence was made out of nouns. This is why you should learn everything there is to know about them. Let's begin. The first thing that we need to do is define nouns. Once you have the definition, we'll understand how we use nouns. And after knowing the definition and the usage, we will further clarify what types and more classifications of nouns. Some extra bits and bobs. The first part, the definition. Here it goes. Nouns refer to people, places, things, or ideas. People, man, woman, Ollie, John. Places, beach, the house, Paris, Milan. Things, glasses, bags, blankets, backpacks. And ideas, love, happiness, braveness, anger. Whenever you talk about any of these 4 things, you have a noun. All of the words in the English language have a classification. In this case, the first one and the most basic one is a noun. It's the bread and butter of the language. Now that you know the definition, let's look at the functions of nouns. The first function is a subject. The subject of a sentence refers to who or what you are talking about. In this sentence, the table looked beautiful. I'm talking about a table in this sentence. Table is what I'm talking about. It's a thing and it's functioning as a subject of a sentence. So it's a thing, meaning it's a noun, and its function is a subject. Let's move on to the second function of nouns. Predicate nominative. Predicate nominatives follow linking verbs like am, is, are, was, and they connect a word after the linking verb to the subject. For example, Ben is a policeman. Is my linking verb. Policeman is a person, so it's a noun, and it renames Ben. Ben equals a policeman, which means that its function is a predicate nominative. The third function of a noun is a direct object. A direct object is one that answers the question who or what after the verb. If I say, the bird ate a piece of cake, my verb is ate. The bird ate. Ate what? A piece of cake. So piece is a noun and it refers to a thing. Function number 4, indirect object. This is an object that does not receive the action, so it's indirect. Let me give you an example. The teacher gave the students some homework. The teacher gave what? Homework. That's my direct object. But who had to do the homework? The students. The students are nouns and it refers to people, and its function in the sentence is an indirect object. Let's move on to object of preposition. Now, there is a list of prepositions that you can memorize on your own time. I suggest that you Google prepositional words. Whenever you see one of them, it indicates that there will be a beginning of a prepositional phrase. Every prepositional phrase has an object of preposition, which means if I say, the winner of the raffle was Omar, of is a prepositional word and it indicates the start of a prepositional phrase. Of the raffle. I'm talking about raffle, which is a thing. Raffle is the object of the prepositional phrase. And the last function that the noun can have is an object complement. So it complements the direct object. For example, I can make him a better person. I is my subject. Can make is my verb. Him is my direct object. Him, what? A better person. I'm renaming the direct object. If I rename the direct object, it is an object complement. Okay, now you know the definition, you know the function that the noun can have in different sentences. If you don't know what I mean when I mention subjects, predicate nominatives, objects of prepositions, object complements, then I suggest you take a pause from this video and look those up on your own time and come back. I will probably make more videos about those, so leave that in the comments below if you would like to have some further information about those things. Now, a noun has to have 2 things, right? It needs to be a person, place, thing, or idea, and it needs to have a function in the sentence in order for it to be useful to you. It needs to be a person, place, thing, or idea and have a function. Now let's look at the bits and bobs. This is extra information to know a little bit more about nouns. There are common nouns and proper nouns. Common nouns are referring to anything. It could be any pen. It could be any camera. It could be any blanket. I'm not referring to a brand or a specific blanket or a specific pen. But if I have a proper noun, if I say the big pen, I'm referring to the brand on this pen. So big would be capitalized, and I have a proper noun because I'm referring to a specific thing. Versus common nouns, they do not need to have a capital letter and they refer to any old thing. Then we have abstract and concrete nouns. Abstract nouns refer to bravery, friendship, culture, something that is hard to touch, hard to explain, hard to grasp. Whereas concrete nouns are something that you can identify quite clearly. A wall, a room, a bed, a bag. Then we have something quite interesting, countable versus uncountable. For example, salt. Salt usually does not have a number attached to it. Unless you are talking about 1 grain of salt, salt is uncountable. Nobody sits around and counts every single little grain of salt. And it doesn't really have a clear form, so you just usually refer to it as salt. Whereas countable, I'm referring to 3 frogs or 2 cows. Compound nouns refer to nouns that have 2 words attached to each other, like sunglasses. You can separate sun and glasses, 2 words that were smushed together to make 1 noun. Singular and plural nouns. Singular is referring to 1 thing, plural, 2 or more. Then we have collective nouns. A collective noun refers to a number of animals or things with 1 word, like herd. Herd of cows has 1 word for a collective group of cows. However, it's a collective noun. 1, and it's singular because it refers to 1 herd of cows. And lastly, we have possessive nouns. Nouns that have the apostrophe and s attached to it, which indicate possession. For example, Sandra's shoes. Sandra's, I attach the apostrophe and s, and it indicates that the shoes belong to Sandra. Sandra is a person, and it is a possessive noun. There was a lot of information in this video that I hope you can pack out. I would love it if you could share this video with someone who is learning English. My name is Gabriela Zambrano, and I will see you here for another video. If you have a suggestion, leave it down below, and I hope that you learned something today. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.